towards the because what's the speeches afterwards. Yeah, the speeches. So I'm gonna read that. I gotta read all of that, and then we pass the flags here. So on page 11 of 13 or 15.
Okay.
What you don't see is after they pass the flag, General Grant talks, Mason talks. So that's gonna
Okay.
right.
So all this
Probably about 15 or 20 minutes in.
15 to 20, because the reporter's asking, so I'm just trying
Probably
to...
about 20 minutes in.
Okay.
Good morning. The ceremony will begin in approximately 5 minutes. Please take your seats and ensure that cell phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin momentarily. Please find your seats. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Major General William H. Graham, Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, welcome to today's change of command ceremony. I am Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Tabaki, Deputy Commander of the Pittsburgh District. This morning, we bid farewell to Colonel Adam Chikansky and welcome Colonel Nicholas Moline. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guests attending today's ceremony include Colonel Chikansky's wife, Wendy, their daughter, Annabelle, and son, Nicholas, his parents, Mike and Diane Chikansky, his mother-in-law, Bernie Fisher, his brother, Benjamin, and wife, Sarah, with their children, Anthony and Sawyer, and Colonel Chikansky's sister, Michelle Christian, and her children, Anderson and Emerson. Also attending today's ceremony is Colonel Moline's wife, Jessica, and their daughters, Mary and Rose, and their son, Thaddeus, and his father-in-law, Thomas Dunmore. Watching virtually is Colonel Moline's mother, Mary Moline, and his brother, Arthur Moline. Also with us today is Dr. Rory Cooper, civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. I would also like to welcome those guests representing our partners who assist us in doing our nation's work. And finally, I'd like to welcome the men and women of the Pittsburgh District that have assembled here to pay tribute to Colonel Chikansky and welcome Colonel Moline and his family to our district. Historically, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over an enemy, to honor their heroes, celebrate special occasions, or to pay homage to their fallen comrades. These ceremonies add color and pageantry to military life. In the United States, the foundation of our present ceremonies was laid by the Continental Army. Today's ceremony reflects procedures practiced since the dawn of our nation and is derived from the Army's first manual on ceremonies, the Blue Book, written by General von Steuben. The ceremony today includes the arrival of the official party, honors to the nation, an invocation, the change of command, followed by remarks, and then conclusion. We hope that you enjoy this historic event. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Major General William H. Graham. On behalf of the soldiers, civilians, and families of the Pittsburgh District, red roses are now being presented to Mrs. Wendy Chikansky. Red is a tradition symbolizing the appreciation of the support and contributions made by loved ones. Yellow roses are being presented to Mrs. Jessica Moline to welcome her and their children, Mary, Rose, and Thaddeus, to the organization. Yellow is the color of new beginning and symbolizes the Moline's arrival to the Pittsburgh District. Please rise for the entrance of the official party and presentation of our nation's colors, followed by invocation. Corps of Engineers Chaplain, Colonel Jeffrey Bailey, will now deliver the invocation.
I invite you to please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we are thankful for the opportunity to pause and celebrate the successful command of Colonel Adam Chikansky. His dedication to engineering excellence, integrity, and serving the nation created a climate for the accomplishments of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Pittsburgh District. May you bless and continue to guide Adam, Wendy, and their children, Annabelle and Nicholas, as they prepare for continued service to the nation and their community in retirement. As Colonel Nick Moline assumes the mantle of leadership here today, may you continue to imbue him with the same wisdom, integrity, and ingenuity that brought him thus far as he builds upon the successes of Colonel Chikansky and addresses new and unique challenges for the Pittsburgh District as he, Jessica, and their children, Mary, Rose, and Thaddeus, create long-lasting memories with their new family, both within the district and across the Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio watersheds. We also pause to give thanks to the team of professionals here within the Headwaters District. Their dedication to the mission and providing engineering solutions provide security, navigability, environmental sustainability, and expert engineering and environmental support to a region teeming with commercial activity, cultural richness, and ecological diversity that represents the very heart and soul of this great nation. May you continue to watch over them and use their skills, intelligence, and untiring dedication to bless and protect the Pittsburgh District, the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, and our nation. These things we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Colonel Bailey and the Pittsburgh District Ranger Color Guard for your participation today. The Pittsburgh District is one of 43 U.S. Army Corps of Engineer districts worldwide. Our boundaries take in the headwaters of the Upper Ohio River in western Pennsylvania and parts of Maryland, New York, Ohio, and West Virginia. Although our district's footprint is small, our region's geography and the historical events have shaped the world. The Pittsburgh District supports commercial navigation on 328 miles of the Upper Ohio, Allegheny, and Monongahela rivers. Along our three rivers, we operate and maintain 23 locks and dams, more than any other district in the Corps of Engineers. In 2021, 42.8 million tons of cargo valued at over $5 billion passed through at least one of the Pittsburgh District locks. This resulted in over 41,000 commercial lockages on our locks and maintains the Port of Pittsburgh status as the nation's third busiest inland port. The Pittsburgh District built, operates, and maintains 16 multi-purpose flood control reservoirs. Last year alone, these reservoirs prevented an estimated $867 million in flood damages. In addition to our reservoirs, 83 local flood damage reduction projects have helped protect communities along nearby rivers and tributaries, preventing more than $5 billion in flood damages in their lifetimes. One of the direct benefits of our lakes and reservoirs is the recreation opportunities provided by 93,000 acres of public land and water. More than 5.3 million visitors enjoyed our lakes last year, greatly contributing to the local economies. Pittsburgh District's varied civil works missions also include hydropower, wetland regulation, ecosystem restoration, emergency management, and the National Temporary Emergency Power Mission. These civil works missions significantly enhance the lives of the area's 5.5 million residents. We are proud of our tradition of service, our reputation for engineering excellence, and our long history of service to the citizens of the Upper Ohio River Valley and the nation. We look forward to continuing our regional partnerships as we execute the Corps' mission to provide vital public engineering services that strengthen our nation's security, energize the economy, and reduce risks from disasters. The change of command is a simple, traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilians. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his responsibilities to the organization. Throughout history, commanders ensured their unit's flags were carried by one of their most trusted officers. This practice was used in the United States Army until 1813, when the regulations were changed and the flag was entrusted to color sergeants or sergeants major. District commanders rely on their most trusted civilian advisor to perform these honors. Today, Brian Traska, the Deputy District Engineer, has this honored role. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander. Because of the reverence the commanders feel toward the unit, it is kept over their heart during the transfer. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of the organization that the old commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander. With this, also passes the loyalty of the workforce to the new commander. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, the undersigned assumes command of the Pittsburgh District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, effective 4 August 2023. Signed, Nicholas O. Moline, Colonel, Engineer, Commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Major General William H. Graham.
Good morning, everybody. We got standing room only here. This is awesome. So thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Distinguished guests, Representative Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends of the Pittsburgh District, and certainly members of the Pittsburgh District, good morning and thanks for being here today. It is absolutely great to be back in Pittsburgh. So I really want to thank General Quander for having a joint school that you can't weasel out of. So Congress passed a law that said, hey, we want the Army to understand what the Air Force does, we want the Air Force to understand what the Navy does, and so for all general officers, there's a mandatory course that you have to go to. You can't weasel out of it. I tried, you can't. So General Quander's number came up at the same time that he just took over command of the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, and he tried to get out of it, and the answer was absolutely not. So he's unbelievably disappointed that he couldn't be here today. He's got one more week of that. It's like a 4-week course called Capstone, and one of those weeks you go overseas. And so he landed last night. He was down in South America visiting with some of our allies, but they wouldn't let him go still that last week. No getting out of it. His loss is my game. It's absolutely wonderful to be back here. I gotta start by thanking the folks that put all this together, the truly caring individuals, the cookies downstairs, the cakes in the back, the professionalism that you saw here today. The color guard looked wonderful. Narrator's doing well so far. And Miss Elaine Lisk, as always, makes the impossible look easy. So please, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, before I talk about these two stellar colonels, I've got to start by talking about this great district. And I'm a little biased. For those who don't know, I was a deputy here, I guess a millennial ago, right? Back in '98. And then I had the great fortune of commanding. And we got some other commanders here. I think I saw Steve Hill. Steve, you out there? All right, Steve was a previous Pittsburgh commander as well. So Steve, thanks for joining us here today. So again, in my slightly biased opinion, the Pittsburgh District sets the standard here in the Corps for dedication, innovation, and professional excellence. When I say those words, I'm thinking about asset management, in the wet construction, dam safety, risk-informed decision-makings, and for those Corps professionals, you know what I'm talking about, because you led the way here in Pittsburgh. I could keep going on and on about the amazing work that this district led, but I'll stop there. Simply put, if I want the project done right, I send the work here to Pittsburgh. Stretching across 26,000 square miles to include Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, and New York, the district's jurisdiction includes 328 miles of navigable waterway. Mary Ann, I'm looking at you. 23 locks and dams that serve that waterway, 16 multi-purpose reservoirs, and 42 local flood damage reduction projects. That infrastructure serves silently in the background, right? But it's of vital importance. We saw in the flash floods that happened out in eastern Pennsylvania today and the tragedies that happened out there, and even up in Vermont. Right? So we say those numbers, and sometimes those statistics kind of get lost, but that infrastructure serves this nation tremendously well. The district's employees realize how vitally important this work is to the citizens, as Representative Kelly said, that they serve. Let me highlight that with two projects. The Lower Mon project is a case study in perseverance and engineering ingenuity. So I'm going to go back in history a little bit. Back when I was a deputy in '98, the district commander at the time, Colonel Ridenauer, the chief of engineering, a fellow by the name of Dan Hitchings, and the DPM at the time, Mr. Les Dixon, they accepted the challenge of building Braddock in the wet. And over the years, we've watched the Lower Mon team, to include Steve Fritz and Kirk McWilliams, fight doggedly, year after year, piece by piece, monolith by monolith, to get that project over the finish line. And it's just about there. As the Lower Mon project finishes, it's gratifying to see the Upper Ohio kick off, leveraging all that expertise that this amazing district has built over the years. So again, to Mary Ann, the Port of Pittsburgh, and all the industry that relies on those rivers, the Corps is absolutely committed to ensuring that these rivers remain a reliable and critical part of this region's supply chain. And I think we're going to have a groundbreaking here in a few weeks down at Montgomery, which is going to be a big, big event. Certainly Representative Kelly and all the congressional members, we appreciate the heavy lift that it was to make sure that we received the funding to maintain this vital part of America's supply chain. Okay. Colonel Jakinski's been in command for 2 years. For 2 years, I've botched his last name. All right. Until today. But the day is young. The day is young. Okay, Annabelle. Can I get some help from you? I'm told that you're a soccer player. All right. So we know the Women's World Cup's going on. So I have some yellow cards here, and I'm going to hand them to you. And if I get your last name wrong, you're going to have to come up and give me a yellow card. Deal? All right. I'm just going to call you Adam from here on and then just be done with it. Remember whose side you're on? Oh, okay. Hey, so I've said it before during change of commands, and it continues to hold true, that officiating at change of command ceremonies is bittersweet. The bitter part is saying farewell to a proven leader and trusted teammate. That's just plain hard. However, the sweet part is welcoming a new commander, because they bring enthusiasm, drive, and fresh perspectives. And that's energizing and beneficial to everyone. So saying goodbye to Adam Jakinski is going to be tough. Adam, as you heard downstairs, is humble, he's committed, he's innovative, and he builds great teams. He ensured that this district delivered for the citizens who were counting on it. So before I keep talking about Adam, I want to recognize his family. Adam's joined today by his wife, Wendy, daughter and current yellow card holder, Annabelle, or yellow, yeah, and Nicholas, who I'm told is a push-up expert. Now, your dad tried to set me up and kind of put that to a challenge, but I'm not going to do that to you today. His parents, Mike and Diane, are here today, along with Wendy's mother, Bernie. Okay, thank you all for joining us. And we've got siblings, Benjamin, Jake, Michelle, and their families. Where are they at? Okay, they're out there. So thanks for, or do you all live up in Buffalo? Is everybody coming? Okay. Thanks for making the mean trek down, I guess it's I-79 to get here. So thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks to the Jakinski family for your support of Adam throughout his life to get him to this point. Certainly to Wendy, Annabelle, and Nicholas, with your dad being a geographical bachelor, we'll really thank you for sharing him with us. Wendy and Adam, who've been married 17 years, did you get that right? Not quite. All right. You might have to give that yellow card to your dad here. They initially met when they were in ROTC. Wendy's a graduate of Cornell with a degree in business administration, who also served in the Army for 6 years. Annabelle is 15 years old in the 10th grade. She runs cross country. This is exhausting reading all the things that you do. Plays soccer, is a passionate horse rider, and a Girl Scout. Nicholas is 13 years old. In addition to his PT and push-up prowess, he's in the 7th grade. He plays football for his middle school, runs track, is a black belt in Taekwondo, and a Boy Scout. Well done, sir. Certainly want to thank Adam's parents, Mike and Diane, for the amazing son that you all raised. So let me take just a few more minutes to highlight, you heard a lot downstairs, but let me highlight again some of the achievements that occurred under Adam's watch. He ensured that marine transportation system out the window was reliable, that industry can count on it to be there day in and day out. He provided expert water management along the steep western slopes of the Appalachian Mountains, using the district's reservoirs, levees, and flood well projects to protect you all. Right. Again, the silent infrastructure that serves amazingly well, and it serves amazingly well because the team Adam built, the team that many of you consist of, ensure that that is there day in and day out, serving us and protecting us. Brian talked about it a little bit downstairs. Marianne talked about it. One of those rivers doesn't have a lot of commercial navigation, the one out the window here, the Allegheny. And so Adam did a great job working with the region to figure out what are we going to do next, to come up with a vision, a shared vision. And that's a lot of hard work. Adam, thank you for that leadership on that. Adam also understood the importance of working better with folks we might not have listened to in the past, to make sure that we're working to government and listening well. So Adam, thank you for your leadership with that. Talked about a bit downstairs, the really nationally important mission that this district does, performing or overseeing the temporary emergency power program. And I know there's some members of that team that are here today. Mr. Steve Hill, Senior Executive Service, your previous district commander here, oversees all of our emergency response programs. And if I brought Steve up here, he'd tell you that temporary emergency power is the most challenging of the functions that we do for FEMA. We're always looking for ways to improve the delivery of that key mission. Every minute counts. 24 hours counts if within that 24 hours you're going to have to evacuate a nursing home. So storm hits. If we can get that facility repowered, there's a bunch of folks that don't have to get put in ambulances and moved. Right? So the clock's ticking. As soon as we get power restored, communities can start to come back together. Adam conducted a complete analysis of the Corps' temporary emergency power restoration mission and identified several key areas for improvement, including resourcing shortfalls that he held me responsible for, as he should, Who's laughing out there? But that's right. And he pointed it out to us. Execution choke points, administrative inefficiencies, to include timekeeping, that I think we're making great strides on. He spearheaded significant improvements in restructuring the teams and mission support elements while streamlining the procedures at all levels. And I know those are bureaucratic words, right? But we're fighting for minutes here. Right? We're fighting for minutes. All these efforts paid off superbly, Adam. They paid off superbly, and I'm counting 8 temporary deployments to Kentucky, Louisiana, New Mexico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico at least twice, Florida, South Dakota on New Year's or on Christmas Eve, and Guam. Right now, or the work we did on Guam, 99 generators they put in to get that island back up on its feet. And it was an amazing amount of hard work, literally almost halfway across the world. Right? And the team flew in and got on site before the typhoon hit. Right? So most folks are evacuating away from where the storms are going to go. These teams try to get there and get set before the typhoon hits. We don't always win that race. So I think it was Hurricane Ian in Florida. And we were trying to get folks set, didn't know where the hurricane was going to hit, and we finally got a good read on where it was going to go, and it was going to swing farther north up the Florida Peninsula than we thought. And so we said, well, let's get everybody south. Let's try to beat the storm. We didn't quite make it, right? Which is really not what you want to do. So the power team had to go to ground and let the hurricane roll over them. Adam, thanks for that leadership. Okay. Hey, let me wrap this up for Adam and just say thanks. I'm personally grateful to you and your family for all you've done for the Pittsburgh District, Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, and the Corps of Engineers. I wish you and your family all the best. We're going to get a few more months of work out of you, and we're looking forward to that. But you've absolutely earned our utmost respect and gratitude. Please, let's give them a big round of applause. No yellow cards? Awesome. Okay, so it's a daunting task to replace a commander of Colonel Chikainski's stature. Fortunately, this nation seems to have a true genius for producing outstanding leaders. Colonel Nick Moline is ideally suited to take over where Adam left off. So Nick and Jess, welcome to Pittsburgh. I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to Nick's family. Nick's wife, Jess, is a native, I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to have to. Let's just get this out of the way. She's a native of eastern Pennsylvania. Okay, so nobody, no Eagles jokes, no nothing. We're good so far. Because she's pretty impressive. She's a particle physicist, got that right, currently working as a nuclear detection subject matter expert for the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Okay, I'm not sure we should have hired the right person here, but it's okay. So the Pittsburgh District is doing some nuclear cleanup work. So we know that Nick will get some free consultation when he comes home from Parks Township. So she's been a dedicated Army spouse for over 17 years. Did we get 17 years right? Awesome. While balancing volunteer work and an amazing career as both a university professor and later a defense contractor. Nick's daughters, Mary and Rose. Now, you're twins, right? Okay, who's older? So one of you. You are older. Which one are you? Okay, Mary's older. Who's taller? Okay. They're 10 years old. They're identical twins. They love to read, play the violin, and Minecraft. They're best friends and have enjoyed the adventures the Army has offered so far. I think they especially enjoyed living in India. All right. Nick's son, Thaddeus, he's 5, and He's 6? You're 6 now? All right. It's important that I get that right at that age. Those years matter. And he's just waiting for my speech to be over, so I'll hurry this up. He loves candy and the color yellow. Right? We're hoping that we also love black and gold here in this city. So, all right. We got a Steelers fan right there. Hey, Nick's father, Robert, is here today in spirit. Sadly, passed away just last November. Vietnam veteran. He showed Nick what military service means. We know that he would love to be here today. Nick's mother, Mary, is watching with his brother, Arthur. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Arthur, for the amazing son and brother. I think we do have Nick's father-in-law, Thomas, is here today with us. Sir, thank you for being here. Hey, Nick comes to us from the Joint Staff, where he served as, bear with me here, the Division Chief for Oceania, South and Southeast Asia, and the Directorate for Strategy, Plans, and Policy. So what that means is that he lived in the bowels of the Pentagon, probably in some windowless office, and since his responsibilities were on the other side of the world, he worked either really early in the morning or really, really late at night. Okay? It's a really, really hard job. And he's probably really, really happy to have that in the rearview mirror. But it's important work. It's important work. Because Nick's a seasoned professional and a very talented engineer who began his career at the Military Academy of West Point. Nick's earned a great reputation across the Army as a superb leader. I last served with Nick about 5 years ago up in Joint Base Lewis McChord. I was the deputy commander for 1st Corps, and Nick was a battalion commander with the 23rd Engineer Battalion. And Nick had truly earned a reputation as an amazing engineer and warfighter. He is the perfect fit to carry on the legacy of leading this great district. Nick, I know that you're going to bring new energy, new perspectives that are going to allow this critically important district to have continued success. All right, so in conclusion, the colors are passed, and once again, under the careful stewardship of Brian, the Pittsburgh District stands ready to continue its phenomenal history of service to this region and our nation. Essayons, building strong, be all that you can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, the former commander of the Pittsburgh District, Colonel Adam J. Chikinsky.
Wendy, Annabelle, Nicholas, Mom, Dad, Bernie, Representative Kelly, General Graham, distinguished guests, all my family members and friends who are here today, and most importantly, the members of the Pittsburgh District. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be part of our event today. General Graham, I appreciate your overly generous remarks, although I'm not sure it fully balances out all the wire brushing you gave me the last 2 years, but we're closer to even now than we were before. No, I appreciate it. And those who don't know General Graham, so I guess I'm going to experience a drop in anxiety after the ceremony because everyone's had one of those high school teachers or college professors who, like when you don't know the answer, and you're like, don't call on me, don't call on me. And so General Graham's always that guy who's calling on you at the most inopportune time, asking the wrong question. So anyway, I always appreciated you keeping me on my toes, sir. Thank you to our stakeholders, our partners who are present today. As I mentioned downstairs before, I learned a long time ago that there's very little that we can do by ourselves in the Army Corps of Engineers. It truly is a team effort. Both internally, as I always try to preach these last 2 years, it's always about the team internally. You look at the district, but also externally. Whether it be our teammates in industry, our teammates in the congressional delegation, or also our federal, state, and local partners too. So Just appreciate everyone coming out here today and your continued support for the Army Corps of Engineers and our mission. So you stole a little bit of my thunder. I do want to offer special thanks. You mentioned Elaine Lisk, but really I'm going to throw out a bunch of names here. Paul Overbeck, Gene Yeager, Dane Somerville, Carol Vernon, Michelle Soray, Andrew Byrne, Dan Jones, Stacy Wiskowski, Joyce Voynick, Dwayne Lewis, and Lieutenant Colonel Dan Tabacki, as well as our Ranger Color Guard, and everyone else who's had a hand in this. Anyone who's ever been a part of putting one of these events on knows that it's an incredible amount of work, and so this team has done an absolutely outstanding job. So if you don't mind humoring me, offer a round of applause for that team, please. Gene Yeager, our Executive Secretary. Gene, where are you? So Gene has a sign in our work area. What's the sign say, Gene? The side of the cubicle there. Yes, have an attitude of gratitude. And I couldn't think of a better theme for my remarks today. My gratitude goes first and foremost to my family. I can't thank my wife Wendy and my children Annabelle and Nicholas enough for the love and support that they have given to me, not only these past 2 years, but throughout my military career. The professional successes that I've known were only possible because of their support throughout those assignments. I want to thank my parents, Mike and Diane, for the role models they have been for me throughout my life. They raised me and my siblings with good values, a strong faith, and a work ethic that emphasized taking pride in your work while always treating others with respect. They continue to be my biggest supporters, and I'm deeply grateful for their constant support and encouragement. I also want to thank my mother-in-law, Bernie, who's here today with us from Texas. She's truly been a second mother to me and has treated me every bit as one of her own children ever since I joined her family. Thank you. And thank you to all my family here who's here today as well, my siblings, their spouses and their kids, my aunts and uncles. I have a great family, and I don't thank all of you enough, but it takes that kind of support to be successful. So I'm just grateful not just for my immediate family, but for the extended family and my friends too. I mean, there's friends, both current friends from back in Western New York, but also past friends from high school, from college, from previous assignments in the military. So just very grateful to have all of them here to share in this event today and for all the support you've all given to me throughout my career. I thank God for blessing me with this opportunity that I've had to serve the Pittsburgh District. And I thank all the members of the Headwaters team for making the past 2 years such an incredibly enjoyable experience. I came to Pittsburgh really with no defined expectations, just gratitude for the opportunity to command again in the Army Corps of Engineers. I had every intention of retiring following my command in Buffalo 5 years ago. The opportunity to lead an ROTC program and give back to the organization that developed me as a cadet was too great to turn down, so I did that instead after my time in Buffalo. Selection for promotion and then for command as a colonel were very much unexpected. Making it here to Pittsburgh was really almost completely off the table, and I want to thank, I'm not sure if she's on the line today or not, but I'm forever grateful to Colonel S.D. Pinchason, the current Baltimore District Commander. And many of you probably don't realize I was slotted to go command the Baltimore District, and SD was slotted to come here to Pittsburgh. And for a number of reasons, it just didn't feel like the right fit for me. So I approached SD, and so together, we went to senior leadership, and through some minor miracles, the assignment swap happened. So I'm forever grateful for SD for making this happen and for allowing me to come here to Pittsburgh. It was obvious from my first visit to Pittsburgh, 2 months before joining the district, that I was in the right place. I see Kobe Short here too, so my predecessor, he brought me out to be part of some of the festivities at East Branch, and so I was out 2 months prior, and I knew right then. I mean, it felt right. I've always felt drawn to smaller organizations with a more personal feel. The Pittsburgh district at 700 plus employees is by no means a small district, but I think it's the distribution of the workforce amongst 34 locations that gives it a very personal feel at each location that really resonated for me immediately. there's a family feel here. And the familiarity, I'd say, with people who are similar to what I was used to back in Western New York. People who value hard work, who subscribe to doing whatever is necessary to get the job done, and who take pride in doing the job right. It was truly the people of the Pittsburgh district who made this experience so special for me. There's really nothing that I enjoyed more in these last 2 years than simply spending time with the people in our district. Whether it be out at the lakes, at the locks, in the district office wandering around, or on temporary emergency power missions. I always appreciated learning not only about what they were doing professionally for our organization, but I'd say even more importantly, just getting to know them as people. Why did they come to the Corps? What did they do before they came here? What do they value about the job? What are some of their challenges? And most importantly, what can I do to help them then? What can I do to help them to make their lives a little bit easier? So I say thank you to all the members of the Pittsburgh district for welcoming me and accepting me as a member of your team. Thank you for the time you dedicated to hosting me for visits and your patience with my questions. Thank you for all the additional work you did to set me up for success for briefings, meetings, or high-level discussions. Thank you for humoring me in my obsession with the details, quote-unquote the details. Where's Joyce? There you go, all right. Details and the so what. I was asking about the so what, so I appreciate you humoring me in those regards. Thank you for tolerating my OCD-driven need to walk every step to the bottom of every dam at our lakes and every step up to the bridge across the dams in our rivers. But most importantly, thank you for the professionalism with which you approach your jobs every day and the pride you take in your work. You are the reason the Pittsburgh District enjoys an exceptional reputation throughout the Army Corps of Engineers. When I first came to Pittsburgh 2 years ago and sat back and thought about, tried to take in what I had learned from when Kobe had brought me in a few visits, and even though I had commanded already in Buffalo, as the old saying goes, if you know a district in the Corps, you know one district in the Corps, and so every district's a little bit different, and so I thought about the Pittsburgh district and what I knew about it, what I knew about its mission and its people. And so I set two basic goals when I arrived 2 years ago. The first one was to make our people feel valued. Make our people feel valued. Highlight their achievements. Take time to learn about what they do for our district, the challenges they face, and show them their leaders genuinely care about them. And the second one draws from a lesson I learned from Boy Scouts many years ago, which was leave the organization better than I found it. So I can only hope, stand up here today 2 years later, that the members of the Pittsburgh district here today and online view me as having succeeded in both. What I can tell you is that I always gave you my best effort, and I absolutely gave everything I had every minute of every day. I frequently lamented to Jean and to Joyce and Elaine, I could use those 27 hours in a day is what I longed for, the elusive 27 hours, but I've got everything I could out of the 24 I had. My departure from the district a year early has nothing to do with the organization and everything to do with my family. I want to again thank Wendy for her sacrifice running our home as a single parent for 70% of the time each week these last 2 years, sometimes more, and my kids for their understanding for all the time I was away and the events I had to miss. Please give them a round of applause. They actually let me know this past fall that they would support me in whatever decision I did make about a third year in command. We were talking about it, and I really wanted them to make the decision for me. So I tried to tee it up for them, and they refused. But they essentially said, hey, we'll support you in whatever you do. And I eventually came to the realization that although the third year of command would be incredibly rewarding, no doubt rewarding for me professionally, it would simply be another year of strain on them. And I saw then, how selfish a decision that would have been for me. At that point, the decision became very clear. Bittersweet, but clear. And I've always, Wendy and I both have always preached to the kids, finish what you start. So stepping away a year early feels a little bit hypocritical. but life is not black and white, and there are no absolutes. When I was a young combat engineer platoon leader at Fort Drum, Andrew Conti is here with us today, one of my platoon sergeants at Fort Drum. So, back in those, our platoon supported 187 Infantry, an infantry battalion task force, and the commander of that task force was an excellent leader by the name of Kurt Fuller, and he would go on to become a 2-star general in command of the 25th Infantry Division in Hawaii. And he once told me, when it's all over, the only thing you'll have left are your family and your reputation. Always take care to nurture and protect them both. It was wise advice. I've always tried to follow it. Nick and Jess, welcome to Pittsburgh. And Nick, as I told you before, you've hit the jackpot here. So enjoy every minute of it. To the members of the Pittsburgh District, one last time, thank you. Thank you for everything. Although my wife is going to hate this, my kids are going to love it. Yin's made these last 2 years an exceptionally special experience for me. One that I'll always look back on fondly. So I think it's only appropriate to close with a quote from the late Mr. Fred Rogers. He said, "The thing I remember best about successful people I've met all through the years is their obvious delight in what they're doing. And it seems to have very little to do with worldly success. They just love what they're doing, and they love it in front of others." I hope you could see from my actions these past 2 years just how much I loved what I was doing. Hadwar's excellence. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Pittsburgh District, Colonel Nicholas O. Moline.
Representative Kelly, Major General Graham, distinguished guests, this very full room of incredible people, and the members of the Pittsburgh District, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be a part of today's event. A special thanks goes out to the whole team across the entire district that organized this today. I was remarking to Bert Jolly, who is my family's escort, that this felt a little bit like a wedding. So I think we might have come in right at wedding size in terms of attendance, which is really impressive. I'm really grateful to the members of the Pittsburgh District team who I've had the opportunity to meet with over the last 3 weeks and during my previous visits to the district. You put a lot of work into helping me to understand the important work that we do on behalf of our nation. I want you to know I've been listening closely and am committed to engaging you over the next couple months to advance the district's mission and learn more. I also want to thank Colonel Adam Chikinsky, I think I got that right, okay, for his exceptional leadership of the Pittsburgh District over these last 2 years. When I heard I was coming to the Pittsburgh District, part of my excitement was the opportunity to work again with a person who is both a tremendous Army officer and who I consider to be a friend. We've served together as teachers at West Point, and we had the great opportunity to go to Command and General Staff College together in Leavenworth, Kansas, 2 very formative experiences. And I've always in that time been impressed by Adam's competence, his candor, and his ability to run really, really, really fast. As we listen to all of Adam's incredible achievements, as the new guy, I sort of hope over time I can fill his shoes commanding this district, but I sincerely doubt that I will ever approach your 2-mile run time, Adam, so that's very incredible. Seriously, though, this has been the best and most thorough transition I've enjoyed in my career. You are absolutely a professional, and I think we can all tell from your remarks that you love this region and the members of this district. Thank you for all you've done for me to prepare me for this role, the welcome that you've given me and my family, and I want to wish you and your family all the very best, and I hope we do stay in touch. I am truly humbled by the opportunity to lead an organization with the storied history and vital mission of the Pittsburgh District. Since 1866, this district has directly served the American people in their homes and neighborhoods, sustaining commerce, mitigating flood risk, providing recreation opportunities, restoring and maintaining aquatic ecosystems, and delivering public infrastructure. This is absolutely a winning team. I could never be in the position to be up here on this podium in command without the love and support of my family. First and foremost, I'm incredibly grateful to my lovely wife, Jessica. I do want to say, based off General Graham's comments, you are getting a twofer having her on the team, and she is the smarter one of the two of us. Across almost 2 decades married, 3 years of me being gone on combat deployments, 10 military moves, you've always been my confidant and biggest supporter. I love you very much. To Mary, Rose, and Thaddeus, thank you for embracing the adventure of moving to Pittsburgh and being such great kids and very well behaved today, I think, all things considered. I promise the next 3 years are going to be a lot of fun. To my father-in-law, Thomas Dunmore, thank you for supporting our family and coming all the way from Eastern Pennsylvania to attend today. I know you're a diehard Eagles and Phillies fan, so it means a lot that you were willing to come across the mountains into enemy territory. I'd also like to recognize my family that couldn't be here in person. To my father, Robert, who passed away suddenly last year, thank you for making me the man that I am today and giving me a passion for service. You've always been my role model, and you always will be. I love you and miss you and know that you would have really, really enjoyed this ceremony. To my mother, Mary, and my brother, Art, who could not be here today but are watching virtually, thank you so much for supporting and encouraging me and my family through thick and thin as we live this military life. We're looking forward to seeing you again soon in Milwaukee. And to all the great leaders, military and civilian, who have invested in me during my career, I want to express my deepest thanks for their investment in me. I know I had some rough edges to buff out, and their efforts to mentor me and guide me have made me a way better leader. To every member of the Headwaters team, I want you to know that I am fully committed to this district, our people, and our mission. There is not a place on the planet Earth I would rather be, or an organization I want to be a part of more than the Pittsburgh District. You have a proven track record and record of success. I really look forward to serving side by side with you as we deliver results for the American people. To the many stakeholders of the Pittsburgh District who are here today, you have my commitment to be an excellent teammate throughout my command. The district plays an important role in the well-being of the region, and I look forward to getting to know all of you and to collaborate more closely. In closing, it's been a real privilege to be the very newest member of the Pittsburgh District team and to now be a resident of the great city of Pittsburgh and state of Pennsylvania. My family and I are excited to eventually become Yinzers. Elaine reminded me, she reviewed my remarks, and she said, you don't get to say you're a Yinzer yet. And I recognize that, and I'm going to work on it. And while I want to assure you, and while I want to let you know that I am a Green Bay Packers fan, and that's probably going to stay that way, the Steelers are now my #1 team in the AFC, and in the small likelihood that they meet, and I heard they met one time in the past, my allegiances will be sorely tested. In fact, since joining the district, I am already wearing way more black and gold than I ever have before. So we're making progress. Thank you again for this tremendous opportunity. Headwaters excellence, building strong, Army strong. Thank you.
Please stand for the singing of the Engineer and Army songs and the retirement of the colors. The words for the songs are in your program. Please remain in position until the official party and their families depart.
This is along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cages loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
On behalf of the Deputy Commanding General, we would like to thank you for your attendance in today's change of command ceremony. Colonel and Mrs. Moline look forward to meeting you in the receiving line to my left. For those wishing to extend well wishes to Colonel and Mrs. Chikansky, they'll be available near the front of the room to the right of the lectern. Everyone is invited to enjoy some light refreshments at the reception immediately following. Thank you.